Welcome, and this is going to be a video for beginners, intermediates, tennis coaches, a lot of stuff in here. So I walked on to a public court and I found these two hitting, and they're gonna show us how this system works and some interesting things here. So the girl here, I'm not completely sure, but I think she may have been in high school, and then he just plays for fun, probably with her and family members. And what I had them doing is starting with the short tennis court. So if you've seen my videos before, if you've seen me talk about the short tennis court, and ideally I would take a piece of chalk or some lines and draw a line right about here in front of him and back her up maybe a little bit and draw a line right here, and that's our court. And I might even just do just the service box, or maybe a little bit less of a wide court than it is now. And sometimes I like to drop the ball from the net to keep them starting close to the net. So let's play here.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. That's perfect. So that'd be out.
So lots of things already, so let's back it up here, take a look. The first thing I'm going to mention, you can see she's probably played a season of high school tennis at least, and you can see they're uncomfortable with the game, and that's where the line would really help. You definitely need the line. It's very important to have a boundary, just like you have on the full court. And you can see part of the reason there is he doesn't really have a frame of reference to aim. The first ball he hit out, and he might think, you take this player here, when they do that they might think they're doing something wrong, but the first thing they're doing wrong is they're not hitting the ball in the court. And both of these players at the level they are can definitely focus on that and keep the ball in. Now that would be in, that would be in. You can already see as well, she's going to want to start. This isn't absolutely necessary, but you could have her not rush so much so she can focus, and have her start with this underhand serve behind the line. So you could start with that as well. You'll see them be a little bit anxious.
Perfect.
So we can also see from for the tennis coaches out there. See that move right there he just made? He's already being forced to bend his knees and get low. Now, he doesn't do a great job there. You can see he kind of reaches for it. But watch what happens when they start to move. Look at the athletic movement from the girl versus when she's standing still.
Perfect. So that would be out.
Now, if that would have been in, let's turn that down there. If that would have been in, she would have to make more of an athletic movement. And as they get better at it, you'll see them make more tennis-specific movements. And that's one of the great benefits of learning how to play short tennis. It's not a matter of just doing what they're doing here. It's a matter of getting good at it and getting to a point where you're making it a competitive game, where there's lots of balls in the court. The players have complete control over what they're doing. They're just displaying here the very beginning stages of learning short tennis. Now here, another thing to mention, you can see him here, because this is a movement, just a reminder, this is considered the movement method of learning tennis. Movement is first. Everything else, like hitting the ball, etc., is secondary. Now right there, you could also make the rule the ball has to bounce. And if you do that, he's going to have to let that bounce. And he's going to have to get better at moving backwards to receive the ball, which is harder to do on a full court. It's hard to actually learn that because you don't move backwards that much. So I move them back there to the next stage, which we'll call mini tennis. Of course, there's many other things you can learn on this court that I haven't mentioned, but this is the game format here, the game version. You can see you can learn the backhand, switching hands, the front of the racket, the back of the racket, all this stuff I'm going to leave out for today. Stay tuned for those videos in the future. Now, if I played this with them or with someone else, it would look a lot different. Obviously, it would look a lot better. But here we move them to the next stage. And you can alternate. It doesn't have to be that they stay at the short tennis. You alternate these until they master them. And that's how you don't build bad habits, without having a coach tell you exactly what to do. Now there's our line. You can really make your line anywhere you want. They're seemingly better at this, but not really. Now you can see here that she's had some lessons. I want to point this out as well. And this will make this method, this is part of the reason why I don't coach anymore. This will ruin this will ruin the greatness of this method in an ideal world. Right there, she goes over. You can see she goes over the shoulder with that shot after the ball is long left the strings. Okay, it's doing nothing, but she was taught to go, when she was learning her forehand, to go over the shoulder. And what we want to do here is teach her racket to move in a way that moves towards the target she's trying to hit. If eventually it goes over the shoulder, then fine, but that's the movement of the racket path. You want it to move. You can see there she's focusing on something that she learned where she dropped the ball and she hits it like that instead of actually focusing on only hitting to a target. If you watch him, he does it a little bit better because he probably didn't have that lesson. You can see where his racket finishes versus hers. Eventually his will change. Hers will change eventually too. It's just more difficult to get her to unlearn that. So here, just like you can do in short tennis, you could also do other rules, like one of them hits cross court, one of them hits down the line, 2 cross court, 1 down the line, and anything similar. So that way they can learn how to change direction, because as you'll see when we move back to the full court, they're not going to be able to learn that in the full court. It's going to be too difficult. Here it is in the full court. You could probably still do it. It would just be more difficult. And you're going to lose a lot of the correct movements. And you'll see here, the movements won't be as dynamic. They won't be as athletic. And you'll get a lot of long distance running. So let me back up. Before we move to that, let's go back to the mini tennis. Because she makes a comment here as well. She makes a comment about, let's see if I can hear her. You could also do topspin here. You can begin the topspin if you want to do that as well. I don't necessarily think that they're at the level of topspin here, but it doesn't hurt to play around with it. This is also a yellow ball. It's a flatter yellow ball. Something to keep in mind. It's not a brand new ball, so it's similar to a green ball. And if we threw in the orange ball, they would get even better. Here you can see he's kind of learning topspin on his own just by playing the game. You can see how he's that one there by playing the game a lot. A lot of people learn topspin without even being taught.
Anytime I practice, I don't think of it like a game. I think of games like it. It's not practice.
So there, she just said it. She thinks of games like games, and she thinks of practice like practice. Ideally, you want the two to come together. Practice is not practice. Games are games. Games are practice. There is no practice other than playing a game. It's always a game. And I think where that gets mixed up is you see players at higher levels practicing, which arguably you could say even for them it should always be a game. But definitely for beginners, intermediates, pretty much everyone who isn't a pro or isn't like, and arguably you could say everyone. Again, it's always a game. And this is very, in my opinion, this is terrible for beginners. To start off tennis thinking that practice and a game is separate. Now we skipped the 60 foot, so here we have my 60-foot line. We just skipped it. I take my chalk or lines and make a smaller court here. And you can make any size court you want, really, to get what you want to learn through playing a game. Again, there's nothing wrong with doing this either, especially because they're adults. However, that ball is flat. I'm telling you right now, it's not a new ball. You can see sometimes the movements are tennis specific, but the thing is, it's hard to notice. But you see what she does here? You can tell her not to do that, but she's gonna get tired. That's the problem. She's gonna get tired, and she's gonna start doing stuff like that because she's tired. So that's when you have to make rules and change certain things to get them to actually learn. And most players do this, what they're doing now, because they don't want to learn. Real learning, what I just showed you, is real learning. And it's hard on the brain. And that's why players don't like it. Or I should say, people don't like it because they want to have fun. It's not always about learning. Or they do enough in their regular life. If you think she's in high school and she's doing enough learning, she wants to play. So now you can see they're starting to get it going, but of course they're not moving. It's right back and forth to each other. So it's easier. So there you have it. That's just a sample, and I want to thank that they ever. I'm not sure they'll see this, but I want to thank them for doing this. Really helped me make this video, and hopefully I can get more of an official video in the future. Thanks for watching.